Boom! Gamers, what's going
Bam!
on? Welcome to the Sunday stream. Today is a special day. We're doing like an all-day stream. We're going to be doing the podcast, rotating between a bunch of different games. It's going to be a great time. So regardless of when you're free, we'll be here. I'm Peter, as usual. Beside me, doing sign language is Jarrod, then Grayden, and Erik. How's it going, boys?
Excellent.
Having a good time.
Excellent.
That is
I'm vibing.
That is great to hear.
We just finished hitting tables together.
It's a
an excellent
common
experience.
bonding practice that we do all together. We buy IKEA
Yes.
tables and just push. That would be
That actually sounds
satisfying
like
to
a lot
do.
of fun.
That
would be fun.
would be really fun.
Stay tuned for that video coming to you soon.
So I know yesterday was a big day for some people in this group. They've been dreaming and hoping for something. And finally, Jarrod, why don't you tell us what happened?
Well, first off, Peter, thank you for allowing me on the podcast. I really appreciate being here. I appreciate you guys accepting me into live connection.
Yeah, but don't mess it up.
Mass Effect, Bioware announced that they are doing a remaster of the original trilogy. And this remaster, from what I heard, it's not quite a remake. They wanted to state that. It's not quite a remake, but they're enhancing every visual throughout the game, they were saying. Like, they're going through and they're taking it and they're upgrading it, optimizing it for 4K, optimizing it for the new consoles. So I'm pretty
upgrading technical features too.
Yeah. So I'm stoked about that. I think it's going to be good. There's a lot of people that are like, oh, it's just going to be a little thing here. It's going to cause more glitches. I'm like, there's always going to be those people that are like just bitching about it because some remasters aren't like great. Some of them just, to me, the thing that makes it hopeful is most remasters that I've seen, they kind of just push them out as soon as they announce them. Like they're just like, here's the games on one disc. Here you go, kind of thing. Whereas they're taking, oh yeah, go for it, Erik.
I'm hoping they're kind of like Activision's remasters of late, like I guess Toys for Bob under them with Spyro and Crash Bandicoot, and then like with the Tony Hawk Pro Skater games, like their remasters they're remasters pretty much, but they could be considered remakes with how well done they were and like how extensive the updates are. So I'm hoping that's kind of like how they do the Mass Effect Trilogy Remaster.
Yeah, no, and that's what I was reading. I think that's what they're aiming for, is they're trying to make it so it's not quite a remake, because like they don't. I mean, that'd be a big project to remake all those games right across the board, like completely from 0 to 100. But I'm glad that they're going to try to take that extra effort, and them taking longer and not saying, okay, it's coming out this holiday season, have fun, and saying we're announcing it, but it's coming out quite a ways away yet. That gives me hope. I'm pretty excited about that. And then on top of that, they announced that they're going to make a new Mass Effect game. And they actually, on one of the articles I was reading, made a comment about Andromeda and said one of the reasons they decided to just void doing any of the DLC was how the game was received. Because they originally had planned to make DLC for it. But instead what they did is after they heard how the game was received, they decided to actually go on to planning a new Mass Effect instead of trying to do Andromeda. They also had Anthem at the time, but they outright said they're like, this is a team that they're using a separate team for the Mass Effect game that was not associated with Andromeda. I think it's just been associated with Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3. And I'm really pumped about it. Like, I'm really excited. I don't want, like, some people are like, oh, I want another 4th installment and have Shepard come back. I swear to fucking God, if Shepard pulls his ass out of those ashes, then I'm done. Like, no. I want like a game completely separate, like just a Mass Effect universe, but different game altogether.
Andromeda
kind of
2?
No.
Yeah. What if
I wouldn't.
Shepard's alive, isn't he like God or something? Pretty much. Like,
what if we just
like he's not just walking around as Shepard anymore. He became a sentient well, depending on your ending, a synthetic sentient machine god thing.
There's actually one ending if you had the DLC that he can come, like if you destroy the Reapers and had enough of the points to get you through, he does survive as him.
Okay.
But that was an ending added in after, like post
After
game
people
release.
complain.
Here's what I want. I want them to like change the game. All right, I want Shepard to come back, but he's like an AI. They salvaged him, and then you just play like a top-down RPG, and you just control everyone where they go, and you're just like the supercomputer.
Halo
AI
Wars,
Shepard.
but for Mass Effect.
Mass Effect card game.
Mass Wars.
Mass Effect card game, the trading card game.
Synthetic.
Where's
Shepard.
Mass Effect Pachinko?
Ooh,
I need Mass Effect.
But I am super excited about it. A, because they mentioned that it is a veteran team they're putting on the project that was involved with Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3. So I'm super stoked about it. Because those games were beautiful. They were well done. I really enjoyed playing all three of them. The one thing I would like to see, and I've said this before with Andromeda, I'd love to see them incorporate that combat system that deals with multiple planes, not just the one plane, so you're just stuck running around. I'd like to see the jumping, the vertical, and everything like that. It'd make it a little more dynamic for players.
So you don't
because
want
it felt
boots on
really
the ground.
clean. Yeah, I'd like a little more movement through it, which is what I liked about Andromeda. The story was weak. The character art was kind of weird and pastel-y. I didn't really appreciate that. But the combat mechanics were actually fairly good, and I liked how they kind of allowed you to completely customize your character so that you weren't just a biotic or you weren't just tech. You could kind of combine a few moves, almost like you just do implants to make different abilities. So I kind of like that. I hope if they take anything from Andromeda, I hope they take that and then kind of merge it with great storytelling, great choice-based gameplay. That'd be my kind of hope for the new game. But I'm super stoked about it. I love the universe. I still played Andromeda, even though it wasn't my favorite game in the world, but I still played it. I still enjoy Mass Effect, so I'm more stoked about I'm more stoked about the I'm more stoked about the remasters, to be honest, right now. Like with new games, I kind of keep hopefully optimistic, but at this point, with how games have gone, it's like a 50-50. Either it's going to be a pile of shit or it's going to be really good. There's not really in betweens right now, and so I'm more looking forward to the remaster. I'm going to start there. I delayed my playthrough this year because they mentioned something in October was going to come out, or they had that leak in October with the one retailer in Europe that leaked the Mass Effect Remaster box art, or they're the fake box art until they release the actual box
cover art.
Yeah. So I was like,
with
fan
favorite characters.
Yeah, so it's like I knew it was coming. I didn't know when, so I decided to delay my playthrough because I'd rather my next playthrough I want it to be really, really different again because I played it probably 5 times through now, the entire Mass Effect trilogy. I really enjoy it.
That's a lot.
I really enjoy those choice based. That's why I really liked anything CD Projekt Red's done. Like The Witcher really appealed to me because anything that were choices impact the end result, I really enjoy because to me it makes me care about what's happening.
Cyberpunk game of the year, but yeah, no, I totally agree.
So I'm more excited about the
Peter.
Game of the year.
It's not eligible.
Game of the year.
What year?
This year. What are you talking about? It's coming out this year. I had to pause.
It is, but
didn't you hear about the 4th delay?
It's not a joke. That's not a joke. Anyway, BioWare, personally, I hear that name and I have a bad taste in my mouth. Their name is just not good in my brain anymore after Andromeda and Anthem. Like, they're still working on Anthem 2.0. Now they're working on a remaster and a new and a new Mass Effect game. Ooh, they're going to start spreading themselves a little thin. I think we might get a little more garbage products here, but we'll see.
I think it depends how they go about it.
It's like Mass Effect, especially the original trilogy, is like it's kind of what put BioWare on the map. Besides, like, I guess Knights of the Old Republic, it's kind of like BioWare's baby. So I'm assuming that they would put like that they'd have to go all in on this. Like it's Mass Effect. It's what
especially after they had the bad receiving of Andromeda.
But like,
it has a legacy that if it's tarnished, then that's the final straw. If it's bad, BioWare's done. But I don't think it would.
But see, Andromeda was bad. Though.
I don't think
people were having this conversation before that came out. I feel,
No, but I feel like I'm with Erik on this. The fact that they openly acknowledged, like, there's not many companies that'll openly be like, okay, we admit that game was not the best. We understand that it was received poorly. they've openly said, you know what, we kind of fucked the pooch on that one. So I think that gives me more hope, because I think they're going to put more effort into finding what was so successful about the previous ones, what can they take from their newer game, as well as and make it into one game. It's when you get companies that are like, what do you mean that game was bad? And then they're like, no, it was good. Fuck you guys. We know it was good. And then they go and make another one.
We understand the fans received this poorly against our better judgment.
Like, here's $2 in microtransactions.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I that gives me hope. That's why I said I'm hopefully optimistic. I don't want to say that it's going to be a great game, because again, Andromeda was kind of like it had good combat system, and that was pretty much the only good thing about it was the combat system, and then the rest of it was just in comparison to previous Mass Effects, that's like building up this huge expectation then just shutting it down with this one game kind of thing. So I feel like I'm like with Erik. I feel like I have more faith. It's literally like when you think BioWare, that's their game, right? Like that's what people think of when they think of Legacy of BioWare. And again, Knights of Old Republic, because that was a very, very popular game when it came out. But I don't know. I think Anthem's a whole other beast. I don't know what they're doing with that. I honestly don't care. I'm not gonna most likely buy it. But
I don't even think I would play it if it was on Game Pass.
But I think, oh shit,
that's some shade.
It will be eventually.
Yeah.
EA, it's on EA Access for free. I think you can get it now, Peter. I can get it. I don't want to play it though.
I know Fallen Order's coming to EA Play, which will be on Game Pass soon.
Yeah, that's exciting cool. For anyone who hasn't played it. Definitely recommend that.
Yeah, it's a great game. Excellent.
With Star Wars, has anyone been watching The Mandalorian Season 2?
Yes.
I'm waiting till it all comes out just because I prefer to watch it all at once.
Okay, that's fair. I like weekly release.
What is wrong with you? Do you not like watching good shows?
Do you have Disney Plus?
No.
Okay, well, okay, that's valid then.
I thought you did have Disney Plus. When did you get rid of it?
I never had it.
Don't get it. Honestly, don't get it. Just stream The Mandalorian somewhere else, and because the rest of Disney Plus is trash. Like, I wish I didn't pay for a year of it. Honestly, even with The Mandalorian.
Like my brother has it, and he watches it sometimes, but I don't know. I'm weird.
I'm excited for. I'm excited for WandaVision. That'll be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting it more for like what's coming out, not what it currently has.
Because like this year we're supposed to have a bunch of stuff, but obviously.
I got it literally for The Mandalorian, if I'm being 100% honest, because I really wanted to watch The Mandalorian, and I also the way we did it is like my mom's paying for like a group Netflix, and then I'm just covering Disney Plus, and that's kind of like the trade-off kind of thing. Even though they don't really watch Disney Plus, but I've Bobby has my Disney Plus and she watches some of it, so I don't know. For me, it's a little more worth it than not, but I understand what you're saying, Peter. There's a lot of shit that I don't even look at on Disney Plus. I have enjoyed some of the documentaries though for some of the major franchises. They've been pretty cool, seeing like the behind the scenes of how they created things. But I think that's more of like a curiosity as how a movie's made than it would be just for a general population.
I watched The Mandalorian, then I watched a bunch of like old movies I'd seen previously, but then that's pretty much it.
It's really hard to get through some of the old Disney movies that I loved.
I think I'm the one in like sort of a unique position where like I have my sister who has 2 small kids. So like they like to watch a lot of Disney shows, and we just have a family plan. So like they get a lot of use out of it. And, you know, I'll ride that train as much as I can.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of things that I'm looking forward to. It's just, due to world events, we didn't get it this year. I mean, eventually we'll get, like, all of the MCU movies on there, which will be really cool. Once they're all just in order, you can watch them, like, chronologically or whatever order they have. Are they not all on
there? I thought at least...
They are currently, yeah.
Not yet.
I was pretty sure I thought they announced that they were all on there.
It was super recently that I just watched Homecoming on Netflix still. So it's not quite all there, but I think like probably
most of it
by 2021. I'm assuming that's probably like
Because
the
it's
end
probably a
date
year
for
thing, right?
Netflix's licensing.
It's probably like a
I
year
don't
since the
know.
game came out or something that they're like, oh, you can have this Netflix. Well, now that Disney Plus is a thing, right? Like before it wasn't a thing. So I think now that it would, because they'd be wanting their rights back to it because they would have sold it to Netflix.
Yeah, it's as soon as the contracts end.
And I've wanted to try some of that like Disney Plus group viewing at some point. I think that would be kind of cool. Just watch some movies together since can't really do that as much.
It'd be fun. Like I recently found out, like Bobby told me about that, and that was pretty neat that they started doing that.
Dusty's here. He says hello.
Hey, Dusty.
Hey, Dusty.
I'm just gonna see if it, because they might have it on both, but I doubt it. No, you're right, Erik. I thought they had switched it over. I thought I saw that.
I remember you told me that, and I was just like, "Yeah, let's go!" And then I looked, and I was like, maybe like you just saw that it's coming soon. Maybe
Yeah,
just
that might have been
misread something.
Mm.
Yeah, you know. Or it could have just been one of those articles that's full of shit, and it's just clickbait stupidness, which sadly is common. Yeah. Or you don't even click on it; you just scroll by it, and you're like, "Oh, I read a headline. I'm gonna say that."
Yeah. No. I don't know. I mean, one other exciting thing is the new consoles launch pretty soon.
I do. I was just reading an article about that the new console SSD for the Xbox X is so fast that like load screens don't exist in The Witcher. So there's a video of some guy fast traveling from one point to the other, and it's like instant, and it's so fast that the camera glitches out, and you're like under the world for a second.
Game's
and then
like, hey, we gotta load this in. Guy, give me a
second.
Exactly.
They were doing, actually, IGN did a direct comparison between big world games, like games that are known for their long loading screens, and they did Red Dead Redemption. I think Red Dead Redemption was 7 seconds on the Series X, and it was like a minute and a bit on Xbox One X. And then they did what was one of the other games they did? It was another one that was known for its long loading screens.
GTA.
Oh yeah, GTA. They did a really fast one on GTA, which was really good, which is really neat. It's just it impresses me. And
there's no fast loading screen for GTA. I'm sorry. You're not. If it's an online game, you're not getting into that thing for at least 5 minutes. No matter what, you're always gonna be waiting.
They were talking about, I was reading an article I think yesterday talking about like the hard drive, because I guess now all of a sudden it's just become a big thing that people are realizing that Sony's doing the exact same thing that Microsoft's doing, where you need a Sony external hard drive to actually there's this slightly worse, I believe, from what I was reading. I believe that the PlayStation 5 requires a Sony hard drive in general, like not a SSD, not a hard drive. Like, it doesn't matter. It has to have a Sony hard drive.
I didn't think they
in order to
yet. I didn't. I thought they were like
maybe they didn't. I was just reading it last night, but I was I thought what I was reading is what the thinking is that it's supposed to be just a Sony hard drive. That is it. It like even our external hard drives, Grayden and Erik, and I guess Peter has one now because I gave him one. None of ours would function on that, and the consoles. They even have they almost have less space on it than the Xbox does without the external hard drive because of some I guess files. They have like 19 something gigabytes of 190 something gigabytes of unusable space on the PlayStation it's something.
Oh
I saw something similar for the Xbox Series S. Like 512 for the Series S, there's like 560 gigabytes or something, and you only have access to like 300 and something gigabytes. So
yeah, so I found that interesting because that was originally like, remember when we first started talking about that, because Xbox came out right away saying, hey, you need an RSSD to play the games right off the hard drive, but you can store them on another hard drive. You just have to move them back and forth. And then everyone was like, oh, Sony's so much better. I can use any hard drive. And then literally they came out and just said, was like, no, you have to use a Sony hard drive for until we literally say you can't, or you don't have to.
Yeah, you're only able to store game data in external drives on the PS5. No games. That what? I'm not even getting the console, and I'm livid. I literally in the last 2 minutes have felt myself amping up in anger. That is such bullshit. How could they do that?
Sense.
How could they?
That's
do
some
that?
Apple. That's an Apple move,
That's
and even
very
Apple's moving away
absolutely
from
an
that. Apple's like stopping that. That's the weird thing. Come on,
Well, because
Sony.
I was blown away by that, because that was like the one big thing. Like, because besides that, like spec wise, the consoles aren't too terribly different. Like, they focused on certain things each one, which is fine. But when you put them against each other, they're gonna have similar load screens. Performance is gonna be quite similar between them, unless you know what to look for. It's gonna be hard to tell the difference between the two visually. But like, that was one big thing where people were bragging about. Like, almost all the threads that I read, people who were getting PlayStations were like, "Oh, you guys can't use hard drives and shit like that. You have to buy an Xbox hard drive." And I just about burst out laughing when I read that on that one post that I was reading. It's crazy.
Okay, see, maybe I should have read more than 2 sentences. So you can play PS4 games on external hard drives, but not PS5 games. So it's essentially the same as Xbox.
Yeah.
Weird.
But my point being was like, not that they were any worse. My point being is like, people were saying that the PlayStation was so much better because you could do anything from the PlayStation 5 and all that stuff, and then it ends up having the same restrictions that the Xbox has. And so the only difference is Xbox offered a bit more of an alternative. Like, yes, it's not great. Yes, it's expensive, but they still offered that alternative. Whereas Sony, I don't think, has offered that alternative yet to adjust to that.
Like, there's a spot for storage, but they haven't unlocked access to it yet. So they're making people wait for whatever reason.
Yeah, so I just found that kind of funny. I found that kind of ironic how it's like they waited so long they didn't even tell anyone this when the console was released. I bet you they would have had I almost think they would have had less sales for it if they had announced that they didn't have that yet. It's just funny. I just found it ironic how it was like the longest time after Xbox said that, people were just hating on the Xbox and saying go PlayStation, and then as soon as that happened, there was like there was a bunch of comments like, "Oh, look what we have here." The exact same BS.
That's how she goes.
There's breaking news from 22 minutes ago. Legendary television host for Jeopardy, Alex Trebek, has passed away at the age of 80.
Oh, that's a big sad.
This is a big This is a loss.
Yep. Just happened a little while ago. It is sad.
Like, we knew it was
Cheers
coming,
to you, Alex
but
Trebek.
Still, yeah.
Yeah. I watched many a Jeopardy.
On this is gaming related for I guess TV games. I think it was EB Games or something tweeted out about some game coming out for the Xbox. It was like another Who Wants to Be a Millionaire game, or like Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? And they were acting as if it was like some AAA title release, and they were like, "Are you getting the return to Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?" And everyone in the replies was just like, why are you tweeting this? Go away. No one cares.
Now, if they came out with a Trivial Pursuit 2, fuck, everyone would be hyped over that.
Game changing.
Hear that, Hasbro? Trivial Pursuit 2.
Hear that,
it's Hasbro,
right? Sellers of Ouija boards.
Oh no, don't talk about that. No.
Okay, I won't.
You can get a Ouija board video game. The whole time, all you're doing is like asking questions.
That's how you summon the Grudge from your TV. Like, come on, man.
No one wants that. Too immersive.
Yeah.
VR.
Ouija board.
Ultimate VR is the Hasbro Ouija board game, and the Grudge coming out. I think that messed some people up.
There isn't like a Ring VR game. I feel like that could be kind of cool. Where like you put in the.
I feel like you'd almost mess someone up too much.
Well, it's the same as watching, in Resident Evil 7 VR, watching a chainsaw travel up your body and split you in twine.
That's true.
Twine.
It looks like Peter has the ring on his back TV there.
That's the aperture.
What?
Yeah,
The aperture.
I was
logo.
wondering what that was. Oh, it's happening.
Yeah, you can't really see it too well in here, but it's a circle with effects. Woo!
There's a
Ooh.
few like details that you can't really make out.
All right, guys, I got a hot take for you on video games.
Uh-oh.
Give me it.
It's not from me.
I'm sure I'm gonna love it.
It's from
Good, let's hear
the CEO of Take-Two, who owns Rockstar and 2K. So
Okay.
he believes that the games they make are worth way more than full price, $60 in US or $80 here, because you get the game and then you get all these ongoing components for free, which is, he's referring to the multiplayer. So he thinks that these things should be further monetized, like not with microtransaction, but like right out of the gate. And so, how do you guys feel like that? Do you guys consider the multiplayer proportions of games free? Like,
He can go fuck himself. That's what I think.
They have
Yeah.
microtransactions, and people buy the money in-game currency from his microtransactions.
but you're buying the game for the single player content, and then you get all this extra stuff with no mandatory
Okay,
charge.
but how many fucking games have single player content anymore? I'm buying the game for multiplayer, especially Rocket League. I'm not like, yeah, I'm gonna fucking play
No,
Rocket
I
League
buy
alone.
Call of Duty for its single player story.
Some people do. Some people do. That's the thing.
Yeah.
They shouldn't. They shouldn't.
But
But,
you're also paying for everything that's contained within the disc, and that's multiplayer too. You've already paid for it. Like you've done your part of the transaction. Like I'm like
to
I'm
mention,
done. I'm
like,
ready.
on
I
demand.
should be able to play.
On demand, they make enough money. Those games sell a fuck ton of copies.
Also, if he's making this point, why did he just release Rocket League for free to everywhere?
Rocket League is.
You know, I
free to
don't
play.
think Fortnite's made enough money. I think Fortnite's really just not doing well at
I
all
buy Fortnite for
financially.
its single player story.
You know what? If a game surpasses 1 million sales, I think automatically it should just go up another $10 for the next million that they sell.
No. I think for every million it makes, it should go down $10. Let's make it a challenge for these games to reach these big numbers.
Trying to get the game for free.
Everyone buy it. Let's convince a bunch of people to buy it so we can buy it for less. I was just kind of on a similar topic of like prices of games, Peter. I was gonna ask you, because you're the kind of gamer that's like you kind of base how much you pay out for the game off of what you get out of it, right?
Yes,
Like it's like,
yes.
okay, I want a certain amount of hours, I want a certain amount of this.
$1 1 hour.
What was your thoughts on the fact that, for example, a game like the Spider-Man Morales,
Yeah.
Miles Morales.
it only was an 18-hour story. Like
Well-
they did I was reading it was only an 18-hour story, and to do a completion of it was a little bit more than that.
We'll see that. Well, okay. First of all, don't you get the full original Spider-Man game with it though?
I don't know. I just was purely talking about like
Just that.
Miles Morales.
Well, see, like
Yeah.
like
I think you do.
I kind of viewed it as like the Miles Morales stuff as like a big expansion, like rather than DLC. But like if I bought
Like a blood dragon.
yeah. If I had bought
Far Cry
Spider-Man
Blood
on the PS4 and then was considering buying Miles Morales, I would need it. I would want to try to get it for like $30. That's the most
kind
I
of
could
what I was
justify
thinking.
out of it.
Right, because there's only so much they can give you if they're like, okay, you get the whole other game with it. But it's like if you already own the game, played through the game, like paying for a full game again just to play the 18 hours of bonus content. That was my thing. Is like it just seemed like that was a little bit short, especially on the scale of that game. Right, like it just felt like I don't know if there is a discount on. I actually don't even know the price of the game
Oh, it's a
itself.
full price game.
So I just was like, I just found that kind of surprising because like that seemed oddly short.
But
like,
see, you also the thing with that example though is that you also get all the next gen enhancements too, so you could
That's fair.
replay this great game even better. I don't know. That's either way.
I was just curious. I was just curious on your standpoint because that's a lot of the time how you kind of measure your buying a game,
yeah.
right? Is how much get out of this game.
Like I didn't buy. I bought Assassin's Creed Origins and Odyssey as a bundle for I think $35 or $45, and I was like, yes, I can get 45 hours out of these combined games. That's
easily.
That's a win. That's a win.
That's a major discount. I mean, I think my first playthrough of Odyssey had 80 plus hours in it, and then my same with Origins. It's the same thing. Yeah, no, that's why I was curious. I just wanted to ask you your take on it, because like I kind of viewed it as slightly different. Like I'll pay for a game just to get like the experience for a story, but that even kind of made me like step back for a second, because to me that's still a little bit short to pay $80 for a game. Just in my opinion.
I don't think so. I mean, I obviously I've talked to Pierre about this. I have different ideology for that. I don't think the monetary value of a game determines its worth, if that makes sense. Like, the main one I always go for is like Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. I think I paid $50 for that. It was before it was on Game Pass or something. You get like 8 hours out of it. Still one of the most phenomenal games I've played, and I say every dollar of that was still worth it. That is like it's just it is circumstantial. I guess like for a big RPG game, like you do want to get your money's worth out of it, because that's kind of what you pay for, is like a big expansive experience. So it all depends on what you're buying though.
Well, that's why I said like I'm kind of with you. Like to me, it's I'll pay for an experience. So if it's a good experience, if it's shorter, I won't take it too much, or I won't worry about it too much. Sorry. I think though, for this game in particular, because I played I played a little bit of the Spider-Man on PS4, and then I played the original ones on PS1, which I played a shit ton of. And that was kind of based around the same style of game except just the new one was obviously updated everything. To me, that kind of game, just to add 18 hours to it, like, unless again, I've never played it, so that experience could be phenomenal, right? Like I have not played the game. I don't know. It took me a step back, because like, unless the game is absolutely breathtaking, to me it has to give more for the price value.
Keanu Reeves has ruined the word breathtaking for me.
Why?
As soon as you said breathtaking,
I'd say he's like made it better.
As soon as you said breathtaking, that's all I could see visual. Just, you're breathtaking.
So it's not Keanu Reeves, it's that guy in the audience.
Yeah, I guess.
I miss Keanu Reeves.
In December.
E3 2019. Yeah, I just mean like the idea of conventions and that the E3 convention. I miss that. What the fuck?
For me,
go for it, Peter.
I was just gonna say, like, maybe if I'd actually, like, if we were going to the convention, I think I'd feel the same way. But from just streaming it, I feel like it's all the same.
I just always get excited around that time. Like, I'm still excited for the Game Awards. I'm sure Jeff Keighley's probably got some good workarounds for this year's.
I just like watching the shows. Like I like listening to what the developers have to say about their games and stuff like that. Like, it's just I don't know. I
love
like
the musical arrangements of the Game Awards specifically. Like, they're so fun.
I love foreseeing
the one they did for Red Dead was awesome.
Out of my wallet.
I don't know. I just feel like it's just a fun experience just watching the shows and seeing what they're like first, like, especially a game that has never been announced or anything or talked about. It just all of a sudden it's whenever you see that, it's always exciting. Like, regardless of what the game is, you're just kind of like, oh, this will be an exciting thing, because it's something that hasn't been talked about yet. So, I mean, unless it's like the Elder Scrolls 6 thing, where it was just like panning across mountains in a village, and then it was like Elder Scrolls 6, and
people
then
were still like, yes.
Yeah, I was watching
in the fine print. They should have put Skyrim 5 released.
I was watching the Game Awards when they had the DLC announcement for Joker for Smash Bros. And the hype for that was so cool. And I remember like texting Matt as it happened, because he's the one who would be all excited about it. And he wasn't watching. And I was just like, Matt, the Game Awards, and he was like, what the fuck is going on? Because obviously the internet blows up as soon as it happens. And it was actually just such a cool reveal with how they did it with the letter coming into frame. And it's always cool with those live events.
Would we be able to do like a group stream of the for like a record, like a stream, like our stream? Could we stream the game?
Well, yeah, we could literally,
awards.
Like I'd show my screen
share,
and then you guys would just. Well, I would say you guys just watch on your own devices and watch live, because then we're all seeing the same thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say it'd be a cool way to do it. Just something else to tackle on.
When is that?
It'd be fun.
December something.
December. I think December 11th or something like that.
Well, that's perfect because I'm done school, so I can.
Is that
actually...
Cyberpunk Day? Is that Cyber Day?
Cyber Day. Will Cyberpunk be able to be more popular than Game Show?
Yes.
Thinking about Cyber Monday, Peter, and I think that's like end of December.
Cyberpunk.
Okay, it's December 10th is the Game Awards.
When the fuck? Yo, same day as Cyberpunk.
I can't wait for Cyberpunk.
Sorry,
to
I can't watch the show.
No
Yeah, Peter, you have to
I
put it
got
on the back
plans.
burner.
No,
Peter, don't worry. They'll delay it again just before then, just so you don't have to worry about it.
No,
There's no overlap.
I'm gonna be busy doing one of two things that day: playing Cyberpunk,
if I
or
was
looking for a
able
new
to be
console.
at your house when they release Borderlands 3, you can watch a stream with us.
You know what's stupid? You know what's the dumbest thing? Just talking about the console, Peter, because you said you're looking for a console. I keep going on Xbox's website, and they'll like show their retailers they're selling their console through, right? And they'll show the prices that those retailers are selling them at. It was like everyone was like $5.99, $5.99, $5.99. Amazon.ca $17.99, and I was like, "Are you fucked? Who bought this console for $1,700?"
I've deeply considered becoming a scalper. It seems like a great thing to do.
I mean, if you want to be scum, yeah.
Dude, free extra cash?
Have you met Peter Grayden?
Dude.
If there is a scum, he is the scum of Live Connection.
The scum? The bread maker, maybe.
The bread maker.
Bread maker. Peter, it's just
You're
gonna take
not making bread for anyone. You're doing it.
Can't even have bread.
It's gluten-free bread. It's still bread.
All it's gonna take, Peter, like you're gonna try, and like maybe you'll be successful, and then like, but it's gonna take one experience where you're like, I can't offload this, and I spent $1,000 buying all this shit, and no one's buying it.
It's fine. It's fine. I don't know. I just think there's money to be made.
I agree.
You should do it's $1,200, but it's free shipping. It's free shipping.
See, you got to be a nice guy if you're gonna do it.
People like free shipping. As soon as you put free shipping in front of things, they are like, "Fuck yes."
Or see, instead of 1,700, I sell it at 900. See? Oh, see, now suddenly I'm not so bad.
You could even sell it at 1,600, and you'd still be giving them a discount.
I was gonna say, Peter,
$100.
what you should do is you should just like advertise it for like $1,200 and just put like a little 25% off sticker up there.
Ooh, day one, 25% off? You won't see that anywhere else.
It's still
Peter,
$1,200.
How much would I have to slap you around if you did that? And I have you guys know this that I have to upgrade now because my console has screen tear issues, and I've tried. I even used my mom just got another HDMI. I was like, you know what? Maybe out of coincidence, all 5 HDMI cables I tried were just messed up. Just out of pure coincidence. So when my mom got a new one, I tried it. Still screen tear. It does, however, it's really weird. Like some days it'll be okay, and it doesn't do it. And then other days it's just like, here's some screen tear, cake the screen tear.
Nice.
And I'm just like, so I feel like the GPU is slowly like dying in my console. So I have to actively look for one. So if you did that, if you got extra ones, and I came up to you, how long would I have to slap you around until you're like, here it is for $5.99, Jarrod?
What, Jarrod? You'd be pricing against one of my deep principles of making money. And the other thing is that you're the one doing it. So that just gives me that much more.
I would. There's a casting couch there for a reason, Peter.
Jarrod, you could like literally fucking break Peter's leg and he wouldn't budge. You're like, no, the price is this.
Yeah, but what if I broke his copy of Cyberpunk 2077?
It's digital.
I'll corrupt it.
Doesn't matter. With that extra cash you give me, I can always buy another.
God damn it.
You know what, Peter?
I
Fine,
can't
do
wait
it.
to fill Peter's basement with a whole ton of Orbeez, and then I'm just gonna leave.
I'll just be in the Orbeez playing
I hate
Cyberpunk.
Peter. I hate Peter.
Peter, do you think you could fucking like legitimately do it though? Do you think you could like say that Xboxes were available? Could you buy like 4, spend like $2,500 all in one go just for that gamble that you could make maybe a little bit?
Your math's a little bit off.
Whatever. That is an example. I'm not
Honestly,
thinking about it.
I probably wouldn't, just because no guarantees. I don't have money just to play with. And the other thing is there is the human aspect. I do have to live with myself. I just have to do it a couple times.
It's like, how much would you really make too? You know, like you'd make probably an extra with like 4. You'd make like probably $400. You could sell it for an extra 100 if you wanted to sell it quickly.
But see, that's an extra $400. I can do a lot of things with $400.
I guess, but
I just feel like I don't know if there'd be enough. I mean, I say that, but again, Amazon sold out with consoles at $1,700, which means someone somewhere spent $1,700.
Here's how you do it
to buy that console.
You hold on to them till Christmas, and you wait for some rich parents who come around who are like, their kids won't stop talking about the new consoles. Maybe they're divorced. They want to, impress the kids, get the one up. They pay that $1,200. They do.
There's an episode of The Office where oh my god,
I've destroyed Live Connection.
There's an episode of The Office where Dwight does that. He researches the most desired gift, and then he sells the Princess Unicorn gift for like 3 times the price it was. And then Daryl buys the last one, and then it doubles the price again for his other guy.
You scum, Peter.
If I were to do it, that's how I would do it. That's all I'm saying.
You know what the best part is? Everyone else in this group, like if I bought a couple extra, like say Erik was, busy, and I was like, Erik, don't worry, I got this. I buy a couple Xboxes, and then Erik pays me back later. I would do that at the regular price. I would get him to pay me back. You'd be like, that's a $300 fee, like a contractor fee for me having to buy it. Oh man.
All it takes is a little cut of your humanity. That's all it takes, and you get cash money.
I like my humanity. I don't need to cut for cash money.
You're the worst, Peter.
No, I don't think I could do that. Maybe, depending if I was in a dire enough circumstance, but
I don't think I'd ever do like scalping. I think it's too shitty.
Especially at like Christmas time. Like who the fuck? What kind
of Ebenezer ass Scrooge motherfucker are you if you gotta do that shit?
I'm just saying that's how you do it. You capitalize on emotions.
Yeah, but it's just like you'd have to be a special piece of shit to do that.
I already told you I got my target market picked out. I just gotta tell them. Again, be in the right places at the right time.
Peter's the kind of person that would bring a bunch of fresh water to a country that has issues getting water, and he'd be like, "Here, you can get this water, but it's gonna cost you $400 a bottle."
Oh, I'm the guy who he had a vaccine or a pill or something. He jacked up the price 400% a while back.
Martin Shkreli.
Yeah, that's him. That's him. No, I don't want to be him. I don't want to be associated with that name. I'll stick to Christmas consoles, not drugs.
Oh my god! Stick to Christmas consoles. Man, did you? So I was just going through some funny, it was a news that was talking about biggest mistakes of our lives, kind of thing, like things people sold that they didn't realize were worth money. And I think one of the biggest things, I think it's worth 100,000 or something, is the holographic Charizards for Pokemon cards.
Yeah, those are big
some guys.
Right now.
Some guy was saying how when he was younger, he didn't realize that he had that it was what it was, and he sold it for $10. And then I think a few days later, the guy went and sold it for $100,000 to a I guess a collector or something. And then I was listening to the radio. I don't know how much I believe this. It was on one of our local radio stations. They were calling in and saying like things that just blew your mind happened to you kind of things. And the guy apparently bought 3 booster packs in a row, and he got a holographic Charizard in each one. That's what he said. I don't know if I believe that, because I feel like that's highly unlikely, but he called in like, yeah, it was weird. So I bought this and I traded it, and then I bought another one. And there was another one in there, and it just blew his mind away. And I was just like,
I could call and do the same thing.
You found 3, Erik? Wow.
Yeah, dude, I got 3. I don't know where they went though. I lost them on the bus after.
It's funny because like you talk about like, remember when, I mean, my parents were always like, you know, you can collect what you want to collect, because my dad collected hockey cards and stuff like that when he was younger. But he was like, you know, Yu-Gi-Oh cards and stuff when I collected them, and Pokemon cards. He was like, oh, I don't know how much that's gonna value in the long run, kind of thing. And there's some cards that I've collected over the years.
Your words now, aren't you, Jarrod's dad?
that were quite. Are quite worth. At least not worth like a stupid amount. Like it's none of those like ultra mega rare cards that are worth like tens of thousands of dollars, but they're worth way more than I spent money on them. So I was pretty stoked about that. But I just kind of find it funny how, you know, almost every generation will be like something the previous generation or something the newer generation starts to be like, oh, this is a collector's item, but then the older generation's like, oh, that's stupid. That's never going to amount to anything. It always happens. But no, I was just kind of finding it funny. I was like, that seems like something. I feel like that's what Peter would look for. Peter would like scour Kijiji and all the marketplaces and be like, who's selling something that they don't know what it is, and then they just nabs it.
I don't know what to tell you guys. It's in my ever since I was little, selling Pokemon cards on the bus for stupid high prices.
I remember. Peter's always, you know, like I went the entrepreneurial route, started my landscaping company. Peter went the scummy entrepreneurial route and did underground selling of cards.
People saw the EX on it, they'd be like, I want that one. I'd be like, you gotta pay for that one.
So many people didn't get lunch that day.
They didn't have to buy it, Erik. They didn't have to. They chose to.
You didn't have to sell it, Peter. You chose to.
Bobby and I were talking about it yesterday. Do you guys remember Scholastic book fairs?
Yes.
In school? Those are fucking gold mines of like random shit that was like sweet but not sweet at the same time. It was like the most useless shit, but it was the coolest shit at the same time.
Awesome.
I wish we still had Scholastic book fairs. Let's have a live connection Scholastic book fair. Peter, you gotta buy everything, and then we'll buy it at half price.
Yeah, it's just like scalping, Peter.
Except the opposite by lose
it's
money.
Reverse scalping. But do it around Christmas time. That way you're giving money away. It's like
No. Christmas is the time to make money. Make money, Christmas.
Yeah, that's the giving spirit.
Ho, ho, ho.
I can't wait till Peter has kids and he's like, you're giving me money. it's like he's going to teach them the meaning of Christmas, and it's going to be you give dad money.
Christmas is like a microtransaction event. It comes around, you give me like a couple quarters, I'll be like, oh yeah, what do I got? Here's a pencil.
God.
And like Peter is absolutely going to be the type, like way down the line in the future, is now like maybe he has a wife and some kids. You know, let's paint Peter a happy life, and you're gonna have like the pantry. And it's gonna be full of snacks. Oh God, I froze, aren't I?
No, you're good.
No. You're gonna have a pantry. It's gonna be full of snacks, and you're just gonna be like your microtransaction for your kids. It's like, yeah, and do you want a Chewy bar? That's 50 cents.
That's a lot. You know, you only get $1 a week.
You gotta spend to eat. You gotta spend it wisely.
Holy shit!
I'm teaching them good, like that way they know how to shop. They know what to eat.
Why am I so purple? Damn it!
You're fine.
It's the way you were meant to be, Claire. Oh no, never mind.
Oh, there we go.
Back to darkness.
Back to the dark.
Lights. Cameras don't do good. Like Peter and I had this conversation about the webcams and stuff for streaming and everything. Unless you have good lighting, it doesn't matter how good your camera is. It's like no camera picks up well for in dark lighting. It's always grainy. It's just.
I gave up on good lighting a long time ago.
Well, it's like I tried to. I've talked to you guys about I was going to get like a desk to put here next to my window so that I could like switch everything onto that desk and then have this as like just a kind of more of a storing desk area. And I've still thought about it because then I'd have better lighting for streams and stuff like that. Because it'd be more like what Erik has, where he's facing the window, right, Erik? And then you have that like direct lighting, and then your cameras pick up things phenomenally. Like I see, like I've lit up this room with like window down and everything, and the room looks great when it's on camera. But as soon as you darken anything, it just goes all grainy and poo.
Poo.
I need to do what Erik said. I need to get, or not Erik, sorry, Jack said I need to get one of those halo lights that they have for streamers now.
Oh yeah, ring light.
Yeah. And then I can have the rings in my eyes, and you guys can look at them, and I'll be like, I'm an angel.
And stare into your dreamy
it'll be a
eyes.
long time till I mistake you for an angel.
At least I don't sell fucking overpriced shit.
At least
on
I
Christmas.
know what I am.
Peter, even Satan was an angel at one point.
Oh,
Ooh, that's deep.
Damn.
and you weren't.
The lore. What was I?
I don't know. they don't talk about you.
Unspeakable. All right, guys. I have one last topic for today. And it
I don't
is
want to hear it.
Call of Duty.
Oh boy.
So, Call of Duty's big.
Nah, Call of Duty's fine. It's
It's always big. But actually, apparently Warzone has done a good lot for Call of Duty. Warzone has there's over 10 times more players playing Warzone than there were last year. That's
damn.
Wow.
There's 111 million monthly active users.
Well, I'd argue that it's one of the better battle royales out there just for quality.
I just thought Call of Duty peaked. I thought it was kind of just, consistently good, but no, it's still going up. Activision, Blizzard, they made a casual $1.2 billion in their last quarter.
Chump change.
I feel like though it's the battle royale thing, right? Like I feel like if a company does it well, it boosts you. It doesn't matter. Like there's a lot of companies that did it poorly. But
even the campaign, like the actual, because Warzone's free to play, but the actual Call of Duty, it had the highest first year sales in the series history. History. That's they don't, Call of Duty doesn't fuck around. When you're breaking records, those are 7-8 digit numbers, more than I can count.
No, that's a lie. You practice counting numbers over 8 digits in your sleep.
More
Dude, I wish I could train myself in my sleep. Do you know any idea how much more productive I could be?
Actually, Peter, that's when you actually store most of your knowledge, is when you're sleeping.
What do I put in my external storage?
No, you put it in your. You establish the actual connections in your brain.
Okay, I can't access these connections.
That's how you change from short-term to long-term memory, is through repetition and sleep.
This means nothing to me, Jarrod. This is just more cones and rods.
No, this is not more cones and rods. There's a different part of the fucking system.
Grayden,
get your science out of here, Jarrod.
Rods?
Oh, I should have brought up cones and rods when we were talking about Grayden's new TV.
Grayden's new TV it looks very pretty.
Yeah,
It is very pretty.
but
Like even like. No, Peter, I've openly said this. I want to fucking deal with this issue. Your eyeball can get overwhelmed. It hyperpolarizes when it sees light. You need to be sitting a certain distance from your fucking TV.
You're making
to
me
acknowledge-
polarized.
Shut the fuck up and listen. To acknowledge the goddamn visual difference. And even then, your eyeball can only acknowledge so much distance.
sorry, I didn't mean to make you a Hulk out there. You just said the eye can't see 4K, and
I explained the fuck. I hate everything, Peter.
It's okay. Other people have better cones and rods than you. Other people can see some things maybe you can't. It's all right. We all got our.
I'm going on to Discord right now to ban Peter from Live Connection.
Well, guys, if you want to save me from being banned, make sure to like this video. Honestly, I think I need your help on this one. I might have gone too far. We're gonna be live like all day. We're gonna take a short break here, but then we're gonna jump in some video games. That thing we all love as friends, right, guys?
Sure, man.
Yeah.
You.
Okay.
I have homework for in the meantime for people who would want to. On trueachievements.com, they have like kind of what Xbox does at the end of each year. They didn't do it last year where they have like your stats for the year, but like because it's going to the next gen consoles, they have it like your lifetime story. So it's like I'll say some of my stats. My first achievement ever was on the 6th of April in 2008. It was up close and personal in Halo 3. My rarest game completion is Banjo-Tooie. First game completion is Halo Reach. It just has shit like that. It says like what your estimated library's worth. Mine's $18,875. So yeah, just a little bit.
This?
It's on trueachievements.com. It's called My Xbox Story. Yeah, and they just have like a lot of cool stuff like that. It's something neat to check out.
I don't know if I want to see this.
My most played game was Overwatch.
Oof.
21 days, 16 hours, 55 minutes. Slowest game completion was Ark Survival Evolved with 1,347 days. I don't know if that counts.
I don't think that game counts.
Because I also just got all the achievements in less than an hour with like some exploits and shit.
All right. Well, we want to hear from you guys about your stats, so make sure to let us know.
Yeah.
And we'll talk to you soon. Goodbye.
Goodbye, nerds.
Bye.